Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past and present are certain to miss the future. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Never doubt a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Be the change you want to see. It starts from you and I. Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Eagle. I'm glad to be back with you after a short vacation. My name is Aisha Muhammad.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
On this program, we'll always try to inform and educate you on the ills of corruption. What to do when you see corruption being perpetrated, knowing what corruption is all about, and the punishment for corruption when found guilty. We try to make you walk away learning something about corruption and the part you are to play in curbing it. As usual, we will be bringing you happenings in and around the Commission, interviews, and some musical interlude to further help you in understanding the anti-corruption messages. Stay with us as the program continues right after this timeout. The Interministerial Committee on the Disposal of Federal Government Forfeited Assets has assured that it will ensure that the federal government gets value for all the forfeited assets soon to be disposed. The chairman of the committee, Dayo Apata SAN, who is also the Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, gave this indication when he led members of the committee, comprising representatives of select agencies, on a courtesy visit to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Amina Kawa has the details of their visit.
Apata pointed out the committee will create a central database of assets that had been forfeited to the federal government. He commended the unprecedented synergy among the relevant agencies represented on the committee, stressing that for the first time in Nigeria, all agencies are sitting together to discuss issues related to assets management and disposal. He thanked the EFCC for the cooperation which the committee has received from the agency, noting that the commission is pivotal to the committee's assignment, considering the fact that it has 16 of the 25 sites where the forfeited assets are located.
In coming here today, we've come to identify with you. First of all, thank you for the work that you have been doing in making Nigeria a better place. Secondly, is to also introduce the Interministerial Committee to you. As you have seen, it cut across different institutions and agencies in Nigeria. These are just, we still have so many, we just say that so that we will not, because of the social distance, we will not enter this, because it's a 21-member committee. And to tell you about our mission and our vision, you will recall that on the 9th day of November, the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, as the Chief Law Officer, inaugurated this committee, and essentially is to look at the process of asset management and disposal in Nigeria. And the essence of it is also for the first time in Nigeria, we are having a situation in which all the agencies are sitting down together and discussing on the same table. This has never really happened. This is the first time we're having the EFCC, ICPC, Navy, even civil defense, and all other agencies sitting down in issues relating to asset forfeiture and asset management. And not only that one way, it is another opportunity in providing and institutionalizing a uniform process of asset disposal.
APATA disclosed that in the furtherance of the committee's assignment, valuers have been advised for. Soon, auctioneers will also be invited. Earlier, while welcoming the visitors to the EFCC, the acting chairman, Mohammed Umar Abba, reiterated the resolve of the commission to assist the committee in the execution of its mandate. He promised to facilitate the request of the committee to visit the zones where the commission maintained offices for on-site inspection of forfeited assets, noting that similar courtesy was extended to the Justice Ayus Salami panel.
I welcome the Solicitor General and his team. They are very much welcome, of course, for the first time to the corporate headquarters of the Commission. I have no option other than to tell you and your committee, very, very important committee, that the Commission is ever ready and willing to assist this august committee to succeed in its mandate as inaugurated by the Attorney General of the Federation. Just recently we received, I think, a letter indicating your intention of visiting some of our exhibit dumps, which are spread in the entire 36 states and the FCT. The jurisdictions is limited to 14 zonal offices who have a catchment area in other states where we don't have zonal offices. So already we had started the process. We had mobilized our zonal formation heads and informed them to give you adequate assistance and support while you are on site visit.
Just to let you know, the committee was inaugurated on November 9, 2020 by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, with the aim of introducing a uniform process of asset disposal and avoiding wastages, so that the federal government can have the full benefits of forfeited assets. Amina Kawa, reporting for The Eagle.
Well, with all hands on deck, all forfeited assets will be disposed appropriately. Next are conviction reports, where Martha Eche is standing by to take us through some of the cases concluded in court. Over to you, Martha.
Justice R.O. Dugbo Ogogorie of the Federal High Court, Enugu, has convicted and sentenced the duo of Dominic Ozulu and Michael Obobe to 35 years imprisonment each over 1,520,000 naira land fraud. The convicts were arraigned on 18th March 2017 by the EFCC Enugu Zonal Office on a 5-count charge of conspiracy, obtaining money by false pretenses, forgery, and altering. In the course of the trial, the prosecution counsel Michael Ani Ikechukwu called 4 witnesses and tendered 12 exhibits. Justice Ogogorie, after reviewing the evidence before the court, found the defendants guilty as charged and sentenced them to 7 years imprisonment each on all the 5 counts preferred against them by the commission. The court further ordered the convicts to restitute to the victim the sum of 1,520,000 naira. The duo's journey to prison started some years back when they fraudulently sold a plot of land at Nsukka, Enugu State, belonging to one Professor Charles Okigbo to one Omeye Anthony. Ozulu, who claimed that Okigbo gave him the land as a gift after serving him for 17 years, forged a deed of assignment purportedly signed by Professor Okigbo as proof of transfer of the title of ownership. The victim petitioned EFCC when he discovered that the Professor Okigbo never transferred any deed of assignment to the convicts. Similarly, the EFCC Lagos Zonal Office has also secured the conviction of 3 years imprisonment of one Afolabi Samuel before Justice Mujishola Dada of the Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos. The convict had been arraigned on November 25, 2019 on a 4-count charge bordering on conspiracy and stealing to the tune of 4.5 million naira from the registered trustee of Living Faith Church, otherwise known as Winners Chapel. The journey to the prison began for Samuel when a firm acting as solicitors to the registered trustees of the Living Faith Church submitted a petition to the EFCC alleging that both Samuel and one Mrs. Kolawole connived to steal funds belonging to the church. The firm alleged that the duo started carrying out various acts of breach of trust and fraudulent commission of unconscionable economic crime and sabotage by unlawfully diverting to their private use the church's money in Samuel's custody without the permission of the church. When confronted by the church, Samuel, who lives around the church at Raji Oba, Lagos, admitted committing the act and even voluntarily made a written confession where he detailed how they have been stealing from the church. But the defendants, however, still pleaded not guilty to the charges preferred against them, thereby setting the stage for the full trial. In the course of the trial, the prosecution counsel Samuel Daji presented one witness, Taiwo Ayoade, who is the representative of the complainant, and tendered several documents that were admitted in evidence by the court. Considering the overwhelming evidence tendered against them, the defendants changed their pleas from not guilty to guilty during the proceedings. In view of their plea, the prosecution counsel Daji asked the court to sentence the defendants. Delivering her judgment, Justice Dada convicted and sentenced the defendants to 3 years imprisonment on counts 1, 2, and 3 from the date of arraignment with an option of 1 million naira fine. Justice Dada also ordered the defendants to pay the sums in counts 2 and 3 as restitution. Martha Eche for the Eagle.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I said na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together. Oh yeah, every woman come out. But we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out. But we kill corruption together, oh. Them they thief our money. Send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day. Better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh. Women from every sector. Make we fight corruption. We won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light. Chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and car. We no see. I said na kankawo.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Naija, now we all know.
In every society, the youth are the most powerful potential in changing old ideas and practices. They can make or mar a society by getting involved in attitudinal change, which is the basis of development in a society. It is the importance of the youth that warranted this interview the Eagle crew had with the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Intervention, Barrister Ismail Ahmad, on the role of the youth in curbing corruption. Here are excerpts from the interview.
Usually in this case is when it comes to financial crimes, it's through crook, unfortunately. And so a lot of young people are engaged in that, and I think government is doing all it can to make sure that we create a lot of bottlenecks for that not to thrive. It's a Herculean task because, for every one step you take, there are several other steps that have been taken by the smart young people that they could have deployed their energy and their creativity into something more positive. And I think that's what we're trying to work on to make sure that we divert them from the idea of criminality into something more positive.
Okay, so is it okay to say that the advent of technology made it possible for them to?
Well, I think in every situation in life, whatever it is that is the situational emphasis in that particular era would give some people an idea to do something good, and it will give some people an idea to do something terrible or bad or criminal. When there was no internet, there were a lot of people, young people, engaged in armed robbery, for example, or rituals of whatever kind. But now they find it easier to, dupe people over the internet. So because that's what it does. So if government now works towards solving that problem, a criminal will always find a way, to do his crime. And the government or security agencies will always find a way to stop that. But our job as people who are in the public space right now is to try to not only now, because there are different sectors or layers of fighting crime. You could do the hard one and you could do the soft one. The soft one is to be able to talk people out of it, and for government to be able to create opportunities for people that they would see that there are other opportunities that they can actually thrive on other than crime. So that's exactly what government is trying to get in themselves.
So in what way would you say economic crimes or corruption has affected empowerment of youths in the country?
I think it's a big problem. I think there is a general notion among a lot of Nigerians, especially young people, that the country is simply corrupt. And that in fact, I've heard people say that everyone in this country is corrupt. It's just who has the opportunity, and what opportunities there are. So if you talk to some of these young people who are perpetrating crime on the internet or perpetrating all this Yahoo stuff like that, they will just tell you, hey, it's the same thing that's happening with people in government. They just happen to do it in government. We just happen to do it on the other side. So we're criminals because we're not in government. That's the way they see it. So, but I think there must be a serious and emphatic renewal of orientation about what this country is. I think there are more good people than bad people in this country. That is why being bad is actually a crime. I think that if you make it easy for people to be corrupt, they would be corrupt. I think the instinct of a lot of human beings initially is of self-preservation and self-promotion and self-pity. And that only comes from the fact that if I have an opportunity to dip my hands in somewhere that doesn't belong to me, I could do it. And they are receiving a false moral equivalency of definition of what constitutes a crime. Because if you talk to some people, they will tell you that to them what constitutes a crime is when somebody has something and you take it away from him. They look at these things, the issue of corruption, they see it as a public good. And since no one particular person owns it, if I dip my hands into it, it just happens to be first come, first served, or the person who has an opportunity. These are all very wrong orientation that a lot of people have. And I think we who are in the public space, the government itself, and every individual, right-thinking citizen of this country that can, must be able to deploy all its energy to show that there could be other better ways of doing this. And when something is public, it actually belongs to someone. That someone could be you or me or whoever. And so that orientation needs to act fast. So I don't know, there's no clear answer of how, it affects, but all I know is that there is a limit pool of resources that government has.
You've had cause to talk to the youth, and I should even say you work with them. So how do you think they can actually lend their hand in the fight against corruption?
I think it's very easy. I think they can talk about it. I think they can exhibit deliberate examples of living honestly. I think, and I know a lot of young people who are very dedicated, very objective, very honest people who just want to see a better country.
How can the society influence the youth to stand up against corruption at all times?
We're a very religious society.
Okay.
At least that's what we propagate. Yeah. Every Nigerian is deeply religious. It's either a Muslim or Christian, they take this thing very seriously. None of the religion, condones crime of whatever kind. And I think that it is also very, very important that you engage ulamas and pastors and scholars and clerics of both religions to be able to drill down the message of moral finesse, lack of corruption tendencies from people that they teach them in basic Sunday schools and Friday mosques and Khamsa Salawat every day. People need to talk about that. As much as it is good that all our pastors and our imams always talk about what will happen to you in the hereafter if you do good. It should be drilled down in practical terms that you cannot go to this place and do this. This is the way that people ought to live. This preaching needs to start from people that have interactions with people at the barest and the remotest cycles, and those are usually religious leaders. Okay. I think EFCC should partner with them as much as possible. Very, very important that that happens every day. That you just don't call them to AC parlors and discuss with them, that they need to drill down these messages. They need to drill down these messages. If you can, you need to be able to send out people that would stand up at the end of a Friday Jumat service and say that I'm from this place, and this is what I want to tell. I want to remind believers that this is what God said, and this is what we are doing in EFCC. You can marry the two so that people could grow bigger. You use what people love the most to teach them what they need to know. And religion is one of it. And I don't know about school curriculum as well. I think the ability of civic responsibility has to be inculcated in people as young as possible. I think that can also be done. Political parties like mine, you need to have engagement with us, seriously, so that we can propagate to our followers.
Like we at the EFCC, we're always trying to enlighten the public. Actually, that's why we're here. It's all part of enlightenment. We talk to them, we'll go to their offices, we go to schools to catch them young, but it seems we're not getting it right. And we talked about reorientation, which is still part of enlightenment. What do you think we can do? This is like your advice now to the EFCC as an organization. What do you think the EFCC should do?
I think EFCC needs to have a serious engagement with government, one, with the young people, about creating an avenue, an opportunity for people to have living wages and decent wages. And so that we can be able to now separate the crime of greed and crime of need, right? And I'm sorry to bring this. In Islam, for example, if somebody is caught stealing, if he steals food to eat, his punishment is significantly lower than the person that steals for greed. Because clearly, the person that steals food is trying to survive. The person that steals for greed is just a criminal. So which means the person that steals food, if you give him food or somewhere he can get food tomorrow, he probably wouldn't steal again. So I think there are different levels. I'm sure there is different, you have those kind of rules. I don't know if there is. But I think your focus should be engage us as much as possible, engage young people as much as possible, drill down, not talk to them about only that when you get caught, you're going to face this crime. As much as that is a deterrent, but we should work towards preventing it from happening in the first place by giving people a decent shot at life, a hope for something to happen in the future. I can't tell you what you shouldn't do. But I can tell you that for us to see a better society, that you don't need to do the wrong thing in the future. It's to do the right thing now, no matter how hard it is.
Well, you all heard it. The youth have a pivotal role in reshaping Nigeria. It is the hope of the EFCC that those involved in any societal vice will desist from it and rather join the bandwagon of making Nigeria a better place for everyone. And that's how we wrap today's episode of The Eagle. To be part of the program, you can send your enquiries and suggestions to all our social media platforms at Official EFCC. You can also send your petitions to info@efccnigeria.org. And you can speak with any of our representatives on 0990447751 or 09093322 I leave you with these parting words from John Wooden that says, "Don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can, no matter how little contribute your quota in making Nigeria great." From all of us here, it's goodbye. God bless Nigeria. And please don't forget to stay safe.